actually said that I send lanat upon the one who claims to be a prophet.
He did. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he
For 10
actually
years.
wrote it at this time, the period you're referring to. He actually said that हम उस शख्स पर लानत भेजते हैं जो नबूवत का दावा करता है.
Right, right.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden he starts saying, well, so it's a funny story. He says anyone can be a prophet. He says a conjurer can even be a prophet. He says just all you got to do is repeat chapter 1, I think it's verse 6 or 7, guide us on the right path. He says we're asking to be prophets every day. Astaghfirullah. No one. Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
وعليكم
Walaikum
السلام.
salam. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. So I'm not sure if you guys know or remember, but Assalamu alaikum, brother Adnan. I just watched your videos. I'm an ex-Qadiani, a Muslim now, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
We've watched it with great attention, taking notes, finding all the references, and etc. But I did have some questions about that. And Muslims, like the general Muslim scholar, isn't versed in Qadiani arguments and etc. So, but you had mentioned that the Brahini Ahmadiyya was an excellent book. And that's simply not the case. It's in that book he makes one argument. He promised 300 arguments, but he makes one, and the one argument is he's a prophet. So it's like the ulama immediately did takfir on him. Only one person defended him, and that's who they quote. That was just like a school fellow, his friend Batalvi wrote that review. Yeah.
In Brahini Ahmadiyya, he didn't make the argument that he's a prophet. No, it was published in 1887 in Amritsar. He was nowhere near claiming to be a prophet at that time. He claimed to be a prophet, or he declared his alleged prophethood in 1902.
1901.
So Brahini Ahmadiyya basically was a defense of Islam. It was supposed to be, as you rightly pointed out, that there were supposed to be many more arguments, but he came up with this, and he spent a lot of money. He raised money from the Muslims. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
so when I praise the book, I didn't mean the book is perfect. There is no perfect book. Okay. It is very nicely published. It is a very nice print. I can even pull it out from my library right now. I have the first edition in my library. Okay. And there are certain things, certain places that he makes good arguments. But at the same time, when Qadianis or Ahmadis try to use my statement to claim as if I am praising Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani, they don't know what they're doing. They are very inconsistent. They are experts, to my experience, they are experts of cutting and pasting and ignoring the context. For example, now, if I was to praise Hitler, let's say, as an absolutely mesmerizing orator, am I endorsing his actions?
No.
Anyone who knows oratory and public speaking in the history of humanity, you will put Hitler somewhere in top 20, top 10 as a speaker, as a public speaker. But he was an evil man. He was an evil man. Despite the fact that he had these abilities that he used for evil ends, doesn't make his entire life worthy of praise. So likewise, I mean, let's give you more controversial example. Salman Rushdie. Okay, are you going to tell me that the guy doesn't know how to write? Are you going to tell me that his English is not good? He doesn't have a good command on the English language? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The guy has a good command on the English language, but he used his command to do evil things.
Right.
Okay. Likewise, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani had done some good work, no doubt. Okay. But at the same time, he used his good works to claim something he had no right to claim. He used his fame he had gained from debating Arya Samaj, and also some Christians. He got some gain. I mean, like nowadays, if you start debating Christians on a major level, okay, naturally Muslims will get to know you. You will go around the world. You will debate people. You will raise questions. You will respond to their attacks. You will become somewhat like a hero of Islam. Okay, people will start to see you as someone in positive light, or they will start to look up to you. This is what happened in Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani. he was initially defending Islam against the attacks of Arya Samaj and some Christian missionaries who were backed by the British government at the time. But then he himself did something worse than what those people were doing. He
Right, and can sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
so I researched this. Like, so there's new information that's came out about Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. So, for example, in that book, Brahini Ahmadiyya, it's in English. It wasn't in English until like 10 years ago or like 7 years ago. Brother, he's claiming verses of the Quran about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For example, chapter 61:9, 48:28, 9:33. This is where he says he is the same as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, astaghfirullah. But in that book, he's saying that. And brother, in fact, the ulama of India, I think almost a lot of people did a takfir on him immediately after the fourth publishing of Brahini Ahmadiyya, which was 1884. So he only got defended by one guy, and they bring that up. But yeah, no worries. I understand it, and all sensible Muslims understand it. But they've been cutting that from, I think, Dr. Israr Ahmed has a piece of his speech where he says that also. And okay, so about the Christians,
this is the problem. They always do this. Now,
Right.
You see, in my 3 hours conversation with this gentleman called Ibrahim, okay, I mentioned this passingly, just as a side point, that his book has good things in it. It is a good book. Okay, I mean, many people disagree with that. Of course, I understand why they disagree with that, because then there are certain pages that are blank and there is only one word on one page. I have the actual book with me, so there are a lot of stupid things about the book as well, no doubt.
Some of the font is really big. Some of the font in volume 1 is like
Yeah.
there's 20
Yeah.
words on the page.
Yeah. So look, when I praised that particular work, I'm not saying every single thing in it is great. I'm saying it has good arguments in it. It would have been good book otherwise if he had not claimed to be a prophet. One could, say, okay, this is a book in defense of Islam. Okay, he's defending Islam against the enemies of Islam. So it could stand like a book, you could say, was written in defense of Islam. But later on, his later actions and his later claims and his absurdities and his visions and his absolute madness,
Right.
when he's
I
claiming to
totally
be
agree.
Isa alayhi salam, and he's claiming to be Maryam and Islam,
And
and he's
Krishna.
claiming to be pregnant, all these things. Okay, the guy was not right in the head. He was not,
Right.
obviously,
So,
he was mentally unstable.
yeah,
Okay?
so let me go a little deeper. So in 1891, he claimed to be the Messiah, et cetera, and he denied prophethood. For 10 years, he said, I'm not a prophet, I'm a muhaddis. So Noonan had brought up that the first Khalifa is the muhaddis. That never happened.
No.
He never made no claim.
Let me add to something there. He actually said that I send lanat upon the one who claims to be a prophet.
He did, yes.
Yes, he
For 10
actually
years.
wrote it at this time, the period you're referring to. He actually said that हम उस शख्स पर लानत भेजते हैं जो नबूवत का दावा करता है.
Right.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden he starts saying, well, so it's a funny story. He says anyone can be a prophet. He says a conjurer can even be a prophet. He says just all you got to do is repeat chapter 1, I think it's verse 6 or 7, guide us on the right path. He says we're asking to be prophets every day. Astaghfirullah. No one can become a prophet. You can't achieve it. You got to be born it, right? So anyhow, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, what he did was really bad, because if you know about the situation with the Hindus and Rangila Rasul, which was written in 1927, that was written in response to the Qadianis. So the Qadianis were fighting the Hindus. Why are you fighting the Hindus, bro? They're in the situation that we're in. They're on our side for freedom. Why are you attacking the Arya Samaj who are anti-government? You shouldn't be attacking them. So that whole thing with the Hindus, some people shouldn't try to represent Islam. You know what I mean? You're gonna make an embarrassment of all of us. So you should just not. Okay, so then there was
this makes sense when you look at the British tactics to divide and rule. Okay, in India, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani was one of those tools, you can say, they tried to use to divide the Muslims and Christians and Hindus so that they don't politically unite. Put so much hatred between them that they cannot politically unite, to do away with the British. And as we know clearly from his works, he praised the British Empire, the British government, in particular Queen Victoria, with lavish tributes.